Hey guys, welcome to Rest of Fireworks, and on today's episode, we have to work on this 2003 Ford Escape. It needs the clutch, it needs the rear main seal, and it also needs the timing belt. So get ready for this one. This might be a two-parter. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Let's get going. Welcome to Rest of Fireworks. See you guys in a bit. Peace. So, yes, it is stick shift. I have not seen many of these little SUV stick shift. I've been working on this car for a while. This is actually Vincent's car. You guys saw him in another video previously, but I'm going to get started. I'm going to grab all the stuff and put them out here and lay it out for you guys. Alright, so here's the parts. The rear main seal, clutch, and timing belt kit. Now, we're going to start, first things first. How you guys like the new do? I got a haircut. I was gonna let my long locks grow, but it's hot. It's like it was 101 today, and I was like, I gotta get started on this car, but I did not want to get started on it. It was way too hot, so I waited until there was a little bit of shade. Now this is gonna be a nice DIY for you guys. If you guys are ever thinking of, you know what, I need to do the clutch of my car, or I need to do the timing belt on my car, and you guys need to tackle that, but you feel like you might not be able to do it, I'm gonna show you guys DIY, minimal tools, as minimal as I can, so that you guys can feel confident in doing it yourself. And I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tips and tricks I've learned along the way. Let's get it running. First things first, pop the hood, and now we're gonna lift up the car. So we're gonna get that going. All right, now, so if you don't have an impact gun, you might have a breaker bar. I'm gonna loosen up just a tad bit those lug nuts, and then I'm gonna raise up the vehicle, put the jack stands underneath, and then I'm gonna finish taking off the wheels. So let's get that going. Boom, flathead in there, pops it off. There it is. There it is. 5. Now I'm gonna go do the other side, loosen it up as well. I loosened them up already, the lug nuts on both sides. Now I'm gonna lift up the vehicle, put a jack stand back there on one of the towers, and then put the other jack stand on the back as well. So I'm gonna get that going now. All right, car is on jack stands now. I'm gonna put a piece of wood in the back, that way it doesn't roll back. I already have the brake, the parking brake on those, but just for safety, we are removing the transmission, so I have to chock it, and that's what I just did. I chocked both of the rear tires. And now let's take off those wheels. Now hear me out, I said no power tools, but I'm gonna use a power tool. It's just a regular drill with a little with a bit to be able to, for 1/2 inch. Okay, that's all it is, nothing special. Okay, but makes it a lot faster for me to take off this wheel off, and now we're gonna put it underneath the vehicle. Why you ask? Jack stands fell. That's an extra safety feature. So jack stands fell, at least it falls on something and not on my head or my body. Now the next side. Either way, without that breaker bar, this would have been difficult for this little cheap Ryobi drill. And now, like I said, underneath the vehicle it goes. Now, let's make sure that this vehicle is not going to fall. So we're going to do the little shake test. Now, my dad always taught it to me. Basically, is you kind of shake the vehicle a little bit, like if you're working on it already. We're going to do the little shake test now. Not that one. Right? Ready? Shake test. It's good. Shake test. Good. So let me show you guys. We got to remove the battery box. We got to remove the air intake. And that's basically it, honestly. And then we're going to remove some plastics underneath the vehicle. I'll show you guys that as well. But most of the thing is that just the battery box, the air intake box, all that. We got to put a rag where the intake goes. That way we make sure that nothing falls in there. And then basically the transmission's uncovered, and then we take off the axles, take off the starter, all the electrical, and then that's it. I mean, the transmission is a very small. The transmission is a very small transmission for this vehicle, so it'll be easy to remove, right? Right. So, and just like that, battery is removed like that. Battery box is off and removed. Put away. Now let's do the air intake. The air intake box and the air intake tube, and then like I said, we got to put a rag over here so that nothing goes in there. We're gonna remove the connector that goes into the mass airflow sensor. We'll unlatch this real quick. Comes up. Now over here is a clamp, and we need a flathead. Give me a flathead screwdriver. And there it is. Air filter off. And now we're going to use a clean rag to cover up that hole for the intake, so nothing falls in there. And now we got complete access to the transmission. We're going to go underneath now. You know what? Let me remove this box just in case. And I know I said no power tools, but this makes my life so much easier. Guys, if you guys can, Harbor Freight makes it so affordable for all of us to have tools available. Just one bolt. I'm gonna put the bolt back where it went. That way I don't forget it. I don't have to really think about where that bolt's gonna go. It's just there. And now we're gonna go underneath. We're gonna start removing all the stuff. Just uncover the transmission where, you know, all the whole thing. So I'm gonna move you guys down there. They see me rolling. Let's take off this whole plastic assembly. Plastic piece off. There's a transmission. Right here is the reverse sensor, and we're actually gonna unplug it. Oh, hi Finn. Dude, you scared the crap out of me. No. Hey, no, I'm working, dude. Please. All right, hugs. Okay, go. No. Shh. It's okay. Well, first things first, like I said, we're gonna do the slave cylinder, so that get that out of the way. All right, so slave cylinder is removed. The slave cylinder used to go here, and there was 2 more bolts on this side. And now the slave cylinder, here's the line to the slave cylinder, and the slave cylinder is up there behind that hose right there. I tucked it away so it wouldn't bother me while I'm still working on it. Now, we got to remove this axle. There's a lot of ways to remove it, but I'm going to teach you guys the way that I learned it, which is we're going to remove the lower ball joint, the tie rod. We're also going to remove the sway bar link as well. And that's going to allow for this whole assembly to move out of the way. There's the bolt off. The bolt from underneath there is off. This is all the way down. And now we have to remove that. So I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. Okay, put you guys right there. Here's a hammer. We're gonna hit it right there. Bam. Okay, make sure you don't hit anything else other than right there. Just right there. Okay, 1. Nope. 2. And just like that, it's loose, it's off. Now I can take it off. All right, here we go. Size 14. For that sway bar link. Don't lose the bolt, don't lose the bolt. There's the old bolt. Put it back into the sway bar link so we know where it goes. Probably still didn't need pliers on this end. There it is, there's the cotter pin. Size 19. There it is. Now, for your car, whatever car you're working on, it's probably gonna be different. If it's front wheel drive car, you're probably gonna be doing the same exact thing. There's the bolt, put that back on there. And now we smack it. 2, 3. There it is. So like I was saying, if it's front wheel drive, you're probably gonna be doing the same exact thing. You still gotta remove the axles. You still gotta remove all these little bolts and stuff. And in order to remove that transmission, rear wheel drive, that's a whole different ball game. So we're gonna start basically removing anything so that we can see the transmission more clearly. Take off the bolts from the starter back there, and then right before we do the axles, we're gonna hold on to the engine. All right, so change of plans now. That whole thing about putting the jack underneath the motor with a piece of wood, that works. That will work completely fine. The problem is, it's not my car. It's a client's car. But I'm still going to show you guys a very DIY way how to do it. Now, this is a bead bar, okay? And I've used it for so many different things. Okay, bead breaker bar. I got it from Harbor Freight, okay? Look where it fits. There's it right there, and then it goes all the way to the other side. Okay, now we're gonna grab one of these. Okay, we're gonna grab right there, and we're gonna cinch the other side as well. All right, so here's the setup. Boom, boom. Right there's a holder back here for the motor, and then there's another one. I forget the actual technical name of it is. But now we're gonna remove the motor mount for the transmission in the back, and we're gonna start removing all the stuff that's right here in my way. All right, so far let me show you guys the progress. Like I showed you, I did this, right? We had to remove the catalytic converter, right? The whole exhaust system. Let me show you guys. There's the catalytic converter, the exhaust. We removed all the bolts from underneath of the transmission, so I don't have to go down there anymore. The only reason I would have to go down there is to take off the axles, which I would do later on. And then I already loosened up the motor mount that's on the back of the transmission, and the only thing holding it up is basically the motor mount on the motor itself, and then the front motor mount, which is on the transmission itself again as well. And then of course the cross member. But I'm gonna leave it here. I got a date with the very lovely Christina, my wife, and we got a date to get some tattoos done. So I'll see you guys later. I'll pick this up later on. I'll be back in a jiffy like this. And just like that, we're on a new day. The sun is right behind me. It's barely coming up. So, give me a second. So we're gonna get started. All we gotta do now is we gotta take off the axles from each side. All the bolts from the back are taken off, and then the 3 bolts right here holding the transmission to the motor. Make sure that this is still holding on straight, and that's basically it. The transmission just comes off. But I'm gonna put you guys down so you guys can actually see all that. All right, y'all. So we removed the other side. Let me show you. So right there, that's the axle. That's where the axle goes. So we removed it already, moved it out of the way. So the original plan was to remove it from here, pull it out, and be able to swing it out. I wasn't able to do that, so I removed the bolts from here, grabbed the caliper, put it up here so that there's no strain on this hose. And that way I was able to move it this way, and it gave me enough space to be able to pull out that axle. So now we're gonna do the other side, and hopefully the other side works the way I wanted to do this side. And if it does, then I'll be able to catch it on camera. If it doesn't work, then at least we tried. So I'm gonna set you guys down somewhere where you guys can see. We're gonna now pull this axle out and hopefully be able to move this down far enough to be able to lift it up from there. So we're gonna do that now. Let's see. Oh, nice. So we're gonna do the same, basically the same thing I did on the other side. So I'll put you guys down right here. Now so I can show you guys, okay? Minimal tools required. Put it in there. Put the wrench in there so I can be able to move it. Boom, done. Put it in. Boom, done. So basically all I'm doing is making a bigger, more leverage. And now we just simply unscrew it. Put it up right here. Let me go get a bungee cord. Bungee cord acquired. Put it up and over. And there it is, it hangs. So now we need a size 18. We're gonna use a breaker bar. Because these bolts are on, they're tight. There's one loose. And there's two. Simply remove them. Like I said, put them back together so you know where they go. And we simply just take that off. Let me break that seal. There it is. Just required one little tap. Seal is broken off. And also I have more space. I'm just gonna remove this whole assembly out of the way. So. There it is. Whole assembly out of the way. Right there. So basically all that is done. The transmission is basically, it can come out now. I'm just gonna remove those 3 bolts and remove, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts. Oh, the starter. I gotta remove the bolts from the starter, size 13s it looks like. Alright, so this is too long, so I'm gonna get a shorter one. There we go, where my short king's at. Had to get my little ladder because I'm actually short too. I'm only 5'9", thick and fine. 3 bolts for the starter off. And now we only have like 2 bolts left. Let me see. I think they are a size 13 too. Let me take off those last 3 bolts, put the jack underneath the motor with the block. And basically transmission's off. I'll show you guys. Alright, so basically all the bolts are out. I just need those 2 at the top. I put a jack underneath that transmission so I can catch it. I don't know how heavy it is. And yeah. I'm going to take off those 2 bolts and start pulling it off and slowly lowering it. Let's see how this goes. There it is. Transmission slid out a little bit. And now let me go underneath and start lowering it. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, hopefully you guys caught some of that. Transmission, as you guys can see, it's out already. It's out. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 10mm bolts. Let me go get that now. We're gonna do start pattern. If you can see, as I'm taking it off, you can see the center of the plate actually coming up. Here we go. If you're doing this with tools, you need to figure out a way to hold this still and be able to take this out. That's why this little gun is godsend. Rock it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. As you slowly slide your fingers in. You know what? Right there. Hopefully the camera can pick this up. Right here, it's leaking a lot from right here. Oh, it was even leaking all the way down here. All right, so there it is. Now, I'm gonna clean that plate off, take off that gasket, put the new gasket on it, put some silicone on it. Now, if you guys don't know, you can use a bearing puller to pull out that pilot bearing. But what if you don't have it? And there's plenty of videos out there about this, but I'm just gonna start doing it, and then I'll just cut it in post-production and just show you guys how it comes out. And I found half of a donut and half a bagel. So we're gonna shove this in there and get that pilot bearing out now.
One eternity later.
Technologia. Who's dirty? Alright. So clean this off. Okay. We're gonna put a little bit of silicone here. Silicone on that side. Put the gasket on. Put the new rear main on. Put a little bit of silicone right there. Alright. After almost 2 hours and grinding this bolt to a point, I think I got. So, alright, so basically the bushing's almost all the way out. I just packed it with brand new bread, and let's see. There it is. There's the bushing. I'm cleaning out the hole currently with all the bread, removing it all of it out. We don't want to leave anything in there. So there it is. There's the old one. That all the scuff marks that I did to it. Just trying to get it out. Okay, I'm gonna open up the new one. There's a new one. You see all those needle bearings in there? That's what you want. Old, new. Alright, so now, just like brake rotors, you have to clean up the surface. This surface, you have to clean it up with some brake fluid. And that's what I did right now off camera. And now, we're going to put the pressure plate on it. Remember, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There it is. And it slides in very good. All right, let's do that throwout bearing. Here's the transmission. Here's the throwout bearing. To remove it, this is what's called the fork. The fork pushes up the throwout bearing. Oh, damn. Vince, this thing was snapped. Holy cow. Okay. And look, Hear this out. In your skateboard, that sounds cool. Not in your transmission. It's annoying. Pack up some grease in there. So there it is. Grease there and inside the tube. Push up on the fork. Boom. All right, boom. Good. There it is. Brand new throw-out bearing in the transmission. Now let's put that this transmission up. Hi guys. Okay, we're gonna put the transmission up onto the jack. Go ahead, pull it out. There it is.
What do you need?
This one will work. There it is. All right, gentlemen and ladies, if there's any ladies watching this, I know there's lady mechanics out there. Alrighty. Okay, so we got a bolt up here. Now what we want to do is make sure none of these wires are hitting. Wow.
It's grumbling.
5 more minutes. All right. Yeah, go tell the kids to get ready. I'm just gonna wash my hands and take off this shirt and put a new one on. All right. It's lunchtime in the Fabworks, Rusted Fabworks family. All right, so I basically put 2 bolts on the transmission belt housing already. It's already in there. It's being supported. Now I need to support the transmission by putting this motor mount in there. Okay. And now we're gonna lift up the motor slightly so we can put these bolts. There's one. Motor mount is in. The center, something in my, the center support is in. All that's left is the axles, the rear motor mount, the driver's side motor mount. Put everything back in place, and we're done. So like I said, assembly is the reversal of the removal. And with that being said, I'm gonna go to lunch. If that's all I record until I get the car running. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.